Hey champions, this is Arian Tyson, just outside of Memphis, Tennessee, heading back home to my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. And I gotta tell you, it has been an amazing weekend here in Memphis. I had an opportunity to experience my first professional basketball game ever, and even though my homeboy Kevin Durant, even though the beast Kevin Durant didn't have a big game, OKC won the game, and they evened up the series against the Memphis Grizzlies 2-2 in the Western Conference quarterfinals. So I have nothing to really complain about, because I predicted that they were going to win the game, and so that's what they did. And so I gotta tell you, this weekend was crazy. Now, like I said, it's my first game ever, and I get to the FedEx Forum, and I gotta tell you, I gotta shout out the Memphis Grizzlies fans, because they just let me have it. They let me have it. I walked in there with a Kevin Durant shirt on, and what was crazy is I was going through security, and this gentleman asked me, has anyone ever told you like Puffy Combs? And I laughed, because I said, I've been hearing that for over 10 years. And, you know, quite frankly, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And no one is going to convince me of that. But I've actually been hearing that since 2003. And this young lady who I'm friends with, her mother started this. So... and it seemed like it's just an epidemic now. And it's like, maybe they see something I don't see. Or maybe it's when I wear shades. I don't know. But, hey, to each his own. But the Memphis fans, they showed out. And I understand why they call it the Grindhouse. I understand now. I mean, even the ushers were letting me have it. These two ladies in particular, they were giving me a hard time, and I think they started to express some sympathy for me, because I told them, I'm like, hey, this is my first professional game ever. It's not that I don't like the Memphis Grizzlies, but I have mad respect for Kevin Durant. And so that's what I wanted to wear. They let me have it. And so now I can probably understand what Chicago Cubs fans feel like when they come to my city, when they come to Slicktown to face my hometown St. Louis Cardinals. So I kind of understand it, because that's kind of how it felt. But I just laughed at it, because I'm like, this is my first game. I'm like, neither one of them is my actual team. But KD is a beast. And so it was just a great game. It went into overtime. And, you know, for the Memphis Grizzlies to hold both Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook to 30 points total, you're supposed to win that game. But because Memphis could not hit free throws to save their life, and Reggie Jackson put up the biggest game of his career, scoring 32 points to lead all scorers. That's why OKC is going back to Oklahoma City, tied at 2-2 instead of being in the 3-1 hole. So it worked out, not exactly as I predicted, but I predicted the outcome of the game. OKC won, so be it. And I look forward to coming back to Memphis again. I'll be back in Memphis right before the 4th of July. If you did not see the previous video before this one, that will explain why. And I'll put a link to that previous video to explain why Memphis is kind of becoming an important venue for me, an important city to me, and why I will be back in Memphis at the very beginning of July. So I'll be back in a couple months. But I just want to encourage you, like it's a dreary day as I drive back home. It's raining. The sun is not out. So I just decided to let my soul glow today. So anybody that knows me knows Coming to America is my favorite movie of all time. And so I'm wearing my soul glow shirt. So I figure I just let it shine through, you know. But nevertheless, I want to encourage you briefly. After I went on that soliloquy about my weekend in Memphis, it was a little slight mishap on Beale Street. They kind of ticked me off, but you know what? Like I said, this week in particular has just been phenomenal, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me. I'm not gonna let anything steal my joy. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Let nothing steal your joy. Let nothing steal your joy. And you need to surround yourself and do things that you know makes you happy. If you don't know what makes you happy, you can't expect anybody else to know what makes you happy. And so whether it was, you know, spending time with my oldest brother, you know, for the first time this year, or whether it was being able to experience my first professional basketball game, or whether it was, you know, being heckled by the Memphis Grizzlies fans. And it's one other thing I left off, and I'm about to wrap this up. When I was at the game, this is how I knew I was at Memphis. I was in Memphis. I have never heard, now mind you, I've never been to a basketball game, but I am quite sure that Memphis is the only place where you can hear the song Whoop That Trick played during the timeout. And it was right when Memphis finally grabbed the lead in the fourth quarter, after Oklahoma City had been up after they've been up pretty much the entire game. And so I'm a fan of the movie Hustle and Flow. And so to hear 15,000 fans saying "Whoop That Trick," it was phenomenal. It was amazing. So that's definitely something I would never forget. And I look forward to going to many more basketball games to come. You know, and it'll probably be in different cities. But nevertheless, it was just an amazing experience. And, you know, I challenge you, I encourage you to, you know, do what makes you happy. You know, you have one life to live, so you might as well enjoy it. And make sure you surround yourself around people that, you know, have your best interest at heart. And so I'm just going to wrap this up. And I will talk to you all once I get back home to Slicktown. Peace and love.